World War II shooters are hardly a new concept. In fact, they've been pretty much done to death at this point. Gamers the world over could be forgiven for overlooking a new World War II FPS launch as just another game to add to that list, but the features and merits of Hell Let Loose warrant a more detailed look than you might normally give a game of this genre. Hell Let Loose seeks to stand out from rival titles with the scale present in its gameplay. The maps are large, with 100 players fighting over famous areas such as Omaha Beach. The game also falls into the category of being a mature or more realistic title than many arcadey style FPS games out there. A single hit to the chest from pretty much any primary weapon is enough to down you. Being hit in a limb or catching only a partial piece of damage from grenade, shrapnel or explosion will only wound you, but these have to be bandaged quickly or you'll bleed out. Medics can revive down teammates, so long as they were not shot in the head or took too much damage from an explosion, which will take a player out of the fight immediately. Don't expect to run around relying solely on quick reflexes to keep you alive. Playing effectively in Hell Let Loose requires teamwork and communication. Thankfully, the game doesn't just stick 50 players on either side and have them let loose against one another. Teams are broken down into 3 different squad types: infantry, armour and recon, with a commander in each team overseeing the main battle plan. You will need to choose a squad and role type before jumping into the action. The roles have some nice diversity, and most are locked to 1 player per 6-man squad to make sure the squads can operate effectively. The officer can play spawn points and will communicate with the commander, who in turn will direct each squad's overall plan back to the officer. Medics can heal down teammates, engineers can place defensive structures and resource nodes, and supports can place supplies to ensure the other classes can make use of their unique abilities. Whilst the squad-based gameplay is certainly one of the game's strong areas, some of the intricacies of how each role operates could be explained better, especially considering how important using class mechanics is to playing effectively. The field manual in the main menu will give some descriptions of how mechanics work, but I would hope to see some tutorials in a later or full release of the game. Luckily, squad mates will normally help you to understand your role if you ask them, as it helps the squad operate properly. Considering the large maps players fight on, the amount of added features on display here is impressive. The commander can support their squads with artillery strikes and armoured units, but must maintain resources in order to do so, adding another layer of depth to a match. This subtlety may not be obvious to a new player, but it can have a major impact on the game. The suppression mechanics are also a nice touch. Taking fire from enemies, even if not taking a direct hit, can cause your character to shake and their vision to go black and white, making it difficult to stick your head up from behind cover and open fire on incoming enemies. This is most effective when using machine guns, which also fire tracer rounds, causing red or green flashes to zip across the battlefield, which shows where the bullets are making contact. Not only do both of these inclusions make the game feel more authentic, they're also practical mechanics. When a teammate showers an enemy position with tracer rounds, you know that you've got a decent chance of being able to move up without taking too much return fire. Dead bodies will remain ragdolled for some time, meaning you will often shoot an enemy body not realising they've already been killed. The bodies will also react to nearby explosions, being catapulted in the air by artillery or grenades. This was sometimes genuinely unnerving. From a graphical perspective, the game looks pretty solid. Nothing stood out as looking subpar or out of place. The sound design is the game's biggest strength. Guns make serious noise, bullets create noise when they fly past or hit the ground near you, tanks are imposing and their guns feel like they have some serious weight behind them, the artillery shells screech before impact, and characters scream when they get hit. The game does fall down in a few technical areas. I tried to join servers with several available player slots but then had to wait in a queue. On top of this, I frequently had an error message saying I lost connection to the server when I was trying to join, regardless of whether or not there was a queue. In terms of in-game performance, the game ran reasonably. It defaulted all the graphic settings to epic, and my PC, understandably, did struggle in some areas. Having changed some settings down, the game ran without too much difficulty. Those with high-end rigs should have no problem, but those with more middling or outdated rigs may want to check if they're going to be able to run the game on decent settings. One small thing that did annoy me in-game was when you hold your breath whilst iron sighting for increased accuracy, if you are moving, the game will take you out of iron sight mode completely. I understand that as a design choice you need to be stationary in order to use the increased accuracy mode, but having the game take me out of iron sights instead of just not giving me the extra accuracy had got me killed on a few occasions, as I ended up dropping my gun down while I was facing an enemy. How Let Loose brings a lot to the table. It may end up getting written off as just another World War II game, but that would be a shame. Its design features make it one of the most immersive and authentic World War II titles out there, whilst it also manages to have large-scale combat which holds on to a sense of order and organisation through its squad system. It also throws in some extra mechanics rarely seen in FPS titles that do, at this point, separate it from its immediate competition. There were a few hiccups on the technical side, but with additional content to come and patches to help iron out the issues, coupled with a low price tag, the final release could be a fantastic title.